Hello and welcome to Bothering Strangers 30 Minutes Max Edition with Max Hearing. I'm Max Hearing, and today my guest is a dream expert, a hypnotherapist, an author. She's whatever she wants to be at this point. My guest today is Dr. Dream, Kelly Sullivan Walden. How are you?
I am great, Max. So fun to be with you. Thank you for having me. And I love the notion of bothering strangers. That just feels like the kind of thing that I'd love to do. So let's bother some people.
Well,
How do
I
we do it? How do you do it? How do you bother strangers?
no, I think I just do it every day in my life. I'm just annoying people unintentionally.
Sometimes intentionally, but I like that you just call it out, you know? You're the guy on the elevator that's like, "Hey, how's everybody doing?"
Yeah, I one time saw a couple like college baseball players wearing the same thing, and I was like, oh, perfect time for a joke. And I went, this is embarrassing, guys. You're all wearing the same thing. And they were like, you should stop. You should just stop talking to us.
Cute.
Yeah,
People
it
like
was.
to be bothered. They need that.
Yeah, they didn't like
We're
it.
too polite.
They didn't like it. They weren't fans, but I don't know. I think it was worth the risk.
They're talking about you right now, even now. So you might not have gotten the like instant feedback, but some things just take a while, you know?
Hope so. I
Yeah.
hope so. So what's your how did you like we were talking before, like you did not this is not something you planned on nor knew you could do. Hypnotherapy,
Yeah.
like that's a thing people know about.
Yeah.
But being a dream expert, I never heard of it until like a week ago.
Yeah, that wasn't something I sought to do. I was pursuing acting in my 20s. I was like, and I think there was something in the pursuit of acting, like getting to play all kinds of different parts, whether it was for hire or just in an acting class. It was like getting to walk in many different people's moccasins. I feel like there was something that was open mind training in that. And then because that was such a traumatic experience in my life, like the whole world of acting and the Me Too movement of it all, before it was called that, I went into therapy just so that I could survive because I didn't think I wanted to be alive. And in therapy, and actually hypnotherapy, I met a great therapist that I was like, oh, this would be a cool job. And I got so much out of it. And the therapist, really suggested that for me to accelerate my therapy, like the process of being in pain and getting out of pain, to practice paying attention to my dreams. So I did. And I noticed that the dreams I was remembering, because PS, let me just put a pin in this. Earlier in my life, as you've probably heard me say on other shows, I used to pay attention to my dreams a lot when I was a little kid. My little sister and I were partners in crime and dreams and had tandem dreaming. Dreaming was a big part of my life. And I didn't realize it back then, but dreaming, when we remember dreams, we're really, without meaning to, we're in touch with our soul. And being away from our dreams can tend to mean that there's a bit of a disconnect between the soul. So during my 20s, when I was pursuing acting, I really had gotten disconnected from my soul. I'd gotten disconnected from my dreams. I'd become much more of like a classic people pleaser. Like I just wanted the gig. So what do you want? Do you want a bubbly airhead? Do you want like a mean killer? Do you want like, who do you want me to be? I'll be whatever that is. And like, who is the real Kelly? It was like, I don't care. I just want the gig. So there was like this empty void, and I just spiritually, psychologically got beat up, ended up in this therapist's office, started remembering my dreams, and they came in with a vengeance, really gnarly, horrible nightmares. And I thought it was bad news. And she said, no, it's just what suppressed must express. So you've suppressed a lot. Now all of a sudden it's expressing. And that's a good thing. It's like you're unclogging the pipes, so to speak. And it starts off bumpy, but it's not going to stay that way. And PS, a nightmare is an unfinished dream. And it's up to you to finish the dream, like to dive back into the dream and recreate it. So anyway, I got interested in dreams. I got interested in therapy. And soon after, I took classes to become a certified clinical hypnotherapist. And started working with people myself on dreams, and on their, with regards to their subconscious mind. Dreaming by the way, is the language of the subconscious mind, and hypnosis and hypnotherapy focuses more on the subconscious mind than on the conscious mind. So that, I didn't realize it, but that really started my professional fascination with dreams, because I could see the therapeutic value, not just for myself, but for other people. And I was working with a publisher on another book, and it wasn't selling. It was a book on goddesses. And she said, nobody's really wanting this book, but you're really, every time we talk, you talk about dreams and you're always interpreting my dreams. Maybe you should write a book on dreams. And I just thought that was the most weird thing, because I thought, nobody wants to know about dreams. I mean, maybe when they come into my therapy office, but I did what she said. I put a little proposal together and I got a book deal with Warner Books, and it became a pretty big, like, it sold, I don't know how many copies now. It's like 50,000 copies have sold around the world. It really kind of put me on the map as an author and as an expert. And then that led to my next book deal and my next and my next, and just kind of this career kind of unfolded out of nowhere. And I kind of ended up being back in Hollywood, sort of, doing talk shows, doing all kinds of things like this, but this time as myself, not playing a role of, it's like I'm getting to be my soulful expression while I get to help people. So it's like, sometimes I like to tell people, we don't always know what's best for us. We think we know, but sometimes the best things that we'll do sneak up on us when we're not expecting them. And I think anything that is soulful has an element of surprise to it. So if we see it all coming and know the plan and know the path perfectly laid out, that's probably not it. Anyway, that was a long answer to a short question.
No, I like it though. I was just gonna say, like in Judaism, the religion I grew up in and still am.
Yeah.
We always say, I don't know if this is in any books or anything, but we always say, like, man plans and God laughs.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I love that. Or how to make God laugh is tell him your plans. So yeah, that's great.
Like, that's one of those things that's like always being harped at you. And it's like, yeah, I could never have imagined being where I am right now.
What did you think you were going to be doing?
In high school, I wanted to be a veterinarian, actually. And now I do this and stand-up comedy and acting, and well, I have day jobs as well, but that's those are like my passions.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Not at all what it ended up being, but
I love the saying, when it's bizarre, it's the hand of God. So it's like, if everything is predictable and white picket fenced and, everything's neat and orderly, it's probably doesn't have a lot of juice in it.
That's it. Yeah. I don't understand those people in life who, like, even people my age who are like, I just want to, like, get married and have kids and, like, buy a house. I'm like, where's the fun? Where's the chaos?
Right. Well, I think it takes all types to make this world go around, and we can't all be the chaos types. We can't imagine the world. I mean, it might be a lot more fun. I don't know, but
it has its ups and downs.
Yeah. I mean, there's like Maslow's hierarchy, right? I mean, at the base of the pyramid, there's like stability and security and consistency. And then you get a little higher up and it's like, okay, let's have a little change. Let's go a little wild. Let's have some adventure. And then ultimately we get to, it's not just about the adventure, it's about contribution, the highest level, but that's the path to get there. So anyway, how do we bother people? Let's bother some people.
I like to ask very, very personal, intrusive questions. No,
awesome. Do it. Do it. I'll do the same. I'll do it right back.
Okay. If you must. In case okay. So I guess I got to ask you about some of my own dreams.
Yes, please do. Awesome. Do it. I'm going to get my notebook so I can take some notes.
Oh, okay. Well, being analyzed as we speak.
Yeah. Very cool. And I have my helper here, Lola, who is on my lap. If you can, sometimes you might see her or hear her.
There she is.
There she is.
I do record this for video, so some people will see her.
Awesome. Okay, so take it away. I want to hear your dreams, Max.
I'm not one of those people who, like, remembers my dreams typically. Like, that's not me at all. Okay. So, if I do remember a dream, it's highly significant.
Awesome.
Well, the one dream I always talk about was, I remember this. I was in my grandparents' house on the East Coast, and I had this dream, and in my dream, I was in love. And the reason I say this is because I've never been in love yet. And then I woke up
Wait a minute. So how long ago was this?
2 or 3 years ago. Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And have you been in love?
In life?
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Max, oh my God, this dream is so awesome. Describe the feeling.
I just remember the sadness when I woke up. I don't even remember, like, I was like, that was a dream.
So it felt like it was a bummer that you woke up because it was like just a dream, like a tease in a way. Like,
I think there was a little bit of lucid dreaming going on there too. When I look back, I kind of feel like I had the awareness of, like, this isn't my life. But then I woke up and I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm just sleeping in a basement right now.
oh my God. Okay, so here's something super special about this dream and about dreams like this. Do you want my feedback? I imagine you have me here because you want that.
Yes, I would like, yeah.
So I talk to so many people that tell me, oh my God, I have a really sad dream. And it's actually a really happy dream. I'm like, wait, what's the sad part? They're like, because I woke up,
Yeah.
because it's not what my life is. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. Dreams are real. Dreams are real. They are like a parallel plane of reality. So when we have an experience that is super fantastic like that, it's like some aspect of ourselves did fall in love and did have that experience. And maybe the rest of us hasn't caught up to it. Like, you know, how there might be a part of you that's really good at math, but maybe there's another part. I mean, there's some parts of us that are more advanced, some parts of us that are a little slower. But sometimes we get a glimpse, like a preview of coming attraction, so that we can get excited about it, so that we can start kind of doing the work to prepare for that, as if it was like a preview of coming attractions for like something that is going to happen. So I don't think the universe is just trying to toy with us when it has a dream like this, like, ha ha ha, you're never gonna have this. Nina,
Sure,
Nina,
I hope not.
Nina.
I hope
No.
not.
How cruel would that be? I think that would be such a waste of energy. That would be so unintelligent of the universe. I think the universe is way more efficient than that. It's like dropping seeds so that you can start to plan. I know my husband always talks about one of his first remembered dreams as a kid, remembering that he actually had the feeling of what it was like to be in love in a dream years before he ever actually fell in love with anybody, and like decades before we met. So I think it is like a preparation. And I think if we're really wise, it becomes a meditation. Like that feeling could be like something that you practice, that you marinate in, that becomes, so it becomes sort of normal almost, so that by the time your person shows up, you're not going to freak out. You're not going to
Oh,
sabotage it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going to go, oh my God, run. Or you're not going to say something stupid and punch her in the face, or I don't know, do something to sabotage it. Like you're going to be like, I've been waiting for you. Nice.
I really do enjoy sabotaging my life though.
I bet. Yeah.
We
What do you
we
get
all
out of?
love sabotaging ourselves.
Yeah. Isn't that good? Cancel. Yeah, I know. No, but you're preparing the way so that you can have the real version of this. I think one of these days you're going to call me and be like, "Oh my God, I met her or
Her,
him or them
her.
or whatever, her." And oh my God, it's so uncanny. Like the feeling is just like that. I like, please reach out to me when it happens, because, and then I'll even officiate your wedding ceremony, because that's one of the things I do. So we'll remember this conversation, Max.
There were times where in life where I thought I may have been on the road. I was not, but I was like, oh, this is like it. But then it ended up just being like regular stuff. But
But maybe it's like a litmus test. So in some way, so you don't settle. And so it's like you need to have a North Star, so you know what you're like reaching for, right?
I have like ridiculously high standards too, and I think that's part of the problem. But
Well, it's part of the problem if you think it's all about her. I mean, in the meantime, it's like instead of just waiting, twiddling your thumbs, it's like you got to become the guy that would be compatible for such a high caliber chick,
Yeah.
somebody that she would also feel that way about. So it's not just about you being like, all right, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for me? She'll be like, see you next lifetime. So you've got work to do.
Yeah. Oh, that is an understatement right there.
Yeah. It's a blessing, actually. The Abraham Hicks, there's a spiritual teacher called Abraham Hicks, and they talk about the buffer of time and the blessing of that. Like if you got everything you wanted right when you wanted it, your life would be, talk about chaos. It would be completely out of control. Like sometimes you have to, it's really good to desire something, and then there's the waiting period so that you can acclimate and get ready for it, so that you're lined up, so that you're a match, so that when it shows up, you can, I don't know, you can rock on.
I just remember feeling sad. I was like, oh man, this is life. I'm not actually. I don't know. I'm single.
I get that. I get that. I get how you could feel that way. And I hope that from after this conversation, you don't just feel sad when you think about it.
Oh, I feel better. I feel better about the because like I'm not one of those like philosophically like I'm not one of those like everything happens for reason people. I'm one of those people that's like nothing happens like exists in a vacuum. And
Right.
I'm just always reminding myself it's like this happened because of this and this. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
dreams don't just stand alone.
Right. Exactly. I mean, there's some people, philosophically speaking, that believe that dreams really are the function of our higher selves, a more intelligent version of ourselves. And it's like we're kind of dense down here in this incarnation, and sometimes that this higher self is just like giving us a little seed that can grow, or a little something like a toy to play with, so that we can sort of evolve. But yeah, anyway, I'm excited about you having the fulfillment of this dream.
I'm like have something to look forward to now.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, suddenly it makes
Who's she
it
going to be? Maybe she's going to be watching this.
one can only hope
Yep.
that.
Whoever is going to be the Mrs. Max, or whoever wants to be, I don't know. How should she reach you? I don't know. Email. Auditions for the Mrs. Max, the Mrs. Max show.
There you can reach me anyway. Just I'm available everywhere. I looked up like common dreams people have,
Yeah.
and I've had some of them as well. The one that kind of seems to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I mean, there are a lot of sexual ones that appear to be everywhere, but one of the non-sexual ones that appears to be everywhere is the like falling off a cliff kind of
Mm-hmm.
sequence, and then
Yeah.
you either wake up or you kind of teleport somewhere else, and you're
Yeah.
awake and you're alive. So what what do you think that means?
So there's two schools of thought on these kind of dreams. Any kind of falling dreams, not necessarily even off a cliff, just falling. So dreams speak the language of symbol, and archetypally falling could be synonymous with being afraid of failing, or feeling that you're out of step with what's going on. You're not grounded. It's a dream that's trying to wake you up so that you can get your feet on the ground, and maybe like have a wake up call, like, oh my God, I got to get my act together. I'm overwhelmed. Things are moving too fast. I just don't have traction here. There's another school of thought that doesn't exclude the first one, but it's a little bit deeper. And so this is a little bit woo woo. Can we get woo woo, or is that going to freak you out?
Get woo woo.
So it's believed that there are falling spirits that are calling us to them in these dreams, so that we can develop our roots, so that we can go deep, so that we're not just full of topspin, like, oh, what do I want to do? I need to do this, all the running around. But like, these dreams are meant to jar us, but drop us deep. So if we can get lucid in these dreams, because sometimes they're so jarring that we can, like you said, we're in the dream, we have this I'm falling, and then sometimes we can have the lucidity to move into another dream, but sometimes we can slow it down and just go, ooh, the goal is to fall well, to learn how to fall so that we land on our feet in a deeper place than where we started. And those tend to be predecessors of really important change in our lives, and us tending to go deeper and not just kind of continuing with the top spin. that most of us are operating by.
Wow. And now I guess I'm doing all right because I haven't had one of those dreams in a while.
No? Oh, but I bet you'll have one soon.
I know. I have no doubt I will. I thought of something. I don't know if you have a background on this. What is epigenetics like? Would so that's for those who don't know, like the passing down of generational trauma. What is the role of
Yes.
epigenetics in dreaming?
Oh my God, Max, nobody's ever asked me that. That's a fantastic question. The first thing that comes to me, I mean, we could probably talk about a million different aspects of this, but wow. The first thing that comes to me is when we have, okay, let me just talk about one specific guy that, so I was in Mexico in Isla Mujeres, near Cancun, and everybody knew I was into dreams. I was interviewing people all over the island about dreams, and everyone said, you got to meet this tattoo artist, this guy who has the wildest dreams. So I met this guy, and he is like the happiest guy you've ever seen. I mean, literally a smile that just is blinding, like such a high vibe guy, really like beautiful soul and great tattoo artist. And he was telling me his dreams, and they were so epic and so horrific every night, like Freddy Krueger times a million. Like imagine all the scariest creatures together, and yet this guy has this really high vibe. So I'm kind of like, it doesn't really make sense that these are like super personal for him. So I asked him about his family, and he's like, "Oh, yeah." And then he got dark. He's like, almost like going back as far as he knew, all like they had all been in jail, they had all been drug dealers, there'd been murderers, there'd been like heavy stuff in his lineage and in his family. And it was almost like, I think he's dreaming for his family. It's like he's the sacrificial lamb that happens to have this. He has the wherewithal, he has the bandwidth, he's got the light to be able to process the darkness that no one else can. And he started crying when we were talking about this, like, oh my God, he was thinking that it was because there was something wrong with him. But I think it was like, no, there's something really right about you that gives you the superpower to be able to help your family. So, I mean, it's always good to ask the question, how is this dream personally for me? But if it just doesn't make any sense that it's about you personally, nothing that you're physically, personally going like happening to you, then consider that you might be dreaming, you're like doing the laundry for the people that can't do their own laundry. And it might be a lot of funky laundry, and it might meet a lot of loads. Like it might take a while. So I think there's that. I mean, I don't know if that answers part of the question.
Sure does.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably many other things too. Like, I mean, people dream. There's like a story about a little kid. It was in the newspaper years ago. This kid that was dreaming about this World War II ship that, and his mother was saying he doesn't even know what a World War II ship is. He doesn't have any grandparents. He's never been to a museum. This
Right.
isn't what he's like. How could he know these things so specifically? Like, so somebody did, I don't know, there was this conversation about like, this was either his past life or it was an ancestor of his that he was bringing through, that he was working through maybe the trauma of what happened on that ship. So I believe that we don't exist in a vacuum. We do. Who we are right now is probably a very small percentage who we actually are. And the rest of it is what we get from our ancestors. And so much of the shoulders that we're standing on and the stuff that they didn't get to process, that it's like the buck stops here. Let's do it. And our dreams are one place where we get to do that. So I hope that sort of answers the question.
Yeah, it's like you dream for other people. That's I never thought
Mhm.
about it like that, but you definitely. I have to ask
Yeah.
what's going on in my family specifically, but like
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some of that
Yeah.
with the Holocaust and all that. So
Holy shit. Yeah.
yeah, I have no doubt.
Ooh, that gave me chills. Oh my God, I'm sure. Like there's gotta be, because our bloodlines, it's like there's intelligence in our blood, in our DNA. I think it does get passed down. And so it kind of, like if somebody, like if you have certain dreams or whatever you're doing, it's not just for you. It's on behalf of the ones behind you and also the ones in front of you. Like, it's that's a lot. That's a lot to heal, but it's kind of cool. It gives context. You were talking about context earlier. I think everything needs context. It gives context to some of the shit we go through, some of the difficult things we're going through, some of the difficult things we dream about. Maybe it's not just ours, maybe it's for our lineage. Have you ever heard of constellation therapy?
No.
It really relates to this. So in dream work, I was working with a lot of actors for a while, in acting classes where we would take somebody who had a vivid dream and the actors would portray elements of the dream for the purpose of finishing the dream. Like, for example, even take your dream, the dream where you fell in love. Like, even though it's not like there's not a lot of elements to this dream, it seems kind of simple, but we could reenact this dream and then grow it, like build it up, take it to the next place. So that put me in touch with somebody who does constellation work with this, which is similar. It lends itself to people in the creative arts, but anybody can do it, where you actually you have a group of people and they each represent family members that go back about 3 generations, and you identify an issue, like, if there's any issue that you're dealing with in your life, like if it's financial or if it's health or if it's relational, then you kind of ask the family portrayed by these people to help you work it out. And you can also do that in dreams with a dream group, pose a question and have them help you work it out, and know that it's not just for you, it's for them too.
I've always kind of like wondered, like
Yeah.
I've asked like literally like psychologists and mental health professionals. I've been like, do Jews have like more anxiety than other people, right? And no one's given me like an answer. No one's like, people like, there's no like quantifiable research as far as I understand as to whether that's true or not.
Hmm.
But when I think about it, especially with what you just said, it's like, even if your family wasn't in the Holocaust, like, anti-Semitism's it's here, but it's been around. This goes for a lot of groups, who have
Totally.
histories of being
Yeah.
persecuted. Uh,
Yeah.
you're probably gonna have some kind of mental health issue that comes from the epigenetics of like whatever happened probably 2 or 3 generations ago.
Right. Right. I want to throw in this one thought just so I don't forget, and then I want to loop back. But one of the things that I love about Bruce Lipton, for example, who talks about epigenetics, one of the key components is the yes, like this, the sins of the father are visited on the son. Yes, like whatever is unprocessed grief gets passed on. And any, like, we are also independent of those things. Like they've proven that, just like, so the whole family has cancer and they've always died of cancer. The Whoever you are right now, if you do the healing work, that doesn't have to be your reality. It's like our cells, we create new cells all the time. We create new ways of being. So as much as we are connected, and I think we are connected on purpose, and we owe it to our ancestors to do the work for ourselves and for them. And yet, ultimately, if we feel victimized by that, like, I'll never get out of this, it's like we can say, whoa, 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 whoa. No, you're not meant to be a slave to that lineage. Like, the buck can stop here. It's meant to stop here. That's why the awareness of epigenetics, it wasn't around in the previous generation. It's around now, so that we can, like, wake up and we can stop. I mean, imagine your son somewhere in the future not having to carry the weight of all these generations because you've done your work. Like, you've done the work to, like, let that stuff go so he can be free to be himself and, like, have like 100% of his bandwidth focused on his joy and his creativity and his love and whatever. So I just wanted to throw that in there.